Okay, so Alex, Heather, what I've seen a lot of dentists do is when they're hiring staff, they primarily just look at their, technical skill set. Like, do they know how to use my patient management system? Do they know how to process the insurance? And they just kind of throw them into, doing the job day one without really a lot of training, without even a lot of thought about, is this person warm and friendly? Do they have good customer service skills? I mean, it's like if you know how to use AbleDent or Tracker or whatever patient management system, you're hired. Start today, start answering phones today. But I feel like you're kind of setting people up to fail in that respect, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you're speaking to a few issues. Well, one issue is the issue of just recruitment in general and hiring talent and having a full staff. It is difficult right now in dentistry to hire new team members. It was difficult before to get talent. It's even harder now. Okay. One of the things that we found in the research pre-pandemic, and I'm sure it's worse now, is, well, actually it's a positive, that by sufficiently onboarding your team, training your team, you improve retention of employees by 25%. And I'm sure it's even higher. Okay. That was an older study. So it's very important that we're consistently training our team. And what training is training them in customer service, but also training them into your vision and having that relationship. Because we're always looking for the next thing. And so we want to make sure we retain. Now, in terms of hiring, and we talked about this before, Nick, is that you want to hire for the personality and train for the skill.
Yeah,
Heather,
absolutely.
Right? So Heather, and you go, well, how can you do that? Well, Heather, back to the story with her and my father, she had zero dental experience. She worked in retail. Interesting. I love hiring for retail for the front office because of Heather, and she crushed it. Now, obviously, if you have an assistant or hygienist, they have to get certain skills, but even those can be developed. You could hire potentially somebody in the front office that you can cultivate to be a hygienist or assistant in the future if you're patient enough, because they can go get the training. In the meantime, learn the customer service, because everybody in the office should be trained on customer service, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go back. Because if the dentist or the owner does not have the vision, does not see that it makes sense, because we talked about in another video that monetarily, and we'll talk about in a later video, monetarily, it's going to make sense to do customer service. It's not this wishy-washy, it's nice to do. It's good business to run a Ritz-Carlton-like business. Heather, let me just go to you about, tell us about the Ritz-Carlton, how when they bring employees on, because Nick was saying you're hiring somebody for your practice management thing, and you just, right on day one, they're answering the phone. What does Ritz-Carlton do?
Yeah, I mean, their focus is finding the best people always with the best attitudes. I mean, they'll pay people to not take the job. They'll give you money and say, I'll give you this money if you don't take it, to see who really wants to work for them. And that's the type of people that we want. We want people that want to work for our practice, that are excited about the vision of the practice, which is why it's so important to have the vision for the practice. But the Ritz-Carlton, I tell dentists, because they say, oh, training, it's hard to fit it into the schedule. We're so busy. And I say, the Ritz-Carlton and Chick-fil-A and those companies are super busy too, but they always make it a priority to train. They won't let somebody even touch the phone, answer the phone, interact with people until they've had about 21 days to 3 months of training and onboarding on their systems, on their vision. Every single person, if you go up to somebody at the Ritz-Carlton, carries that little card with their vision, and they can recite it to you and they show it to you and they're proud of it. And every year, I believe people actually train, from everybody from the janitor up to, senior management, like 250 hours or something like that every year. And so to say we don't have time, if it's a priority, you make the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole sharpening the saw kind of problem, right? Because I think it was your book that I read this in, but there was, Ritz-Carlton had done a study and trying to figure out, we've got this group of customers that were longtime customers of our hotel, and for whatever reason, they decided to start going to other places, right? And they're trying to figure out, like, well, what is it? Like, did we do something wrong? Like, was it the room? Like, what happened? And they found in their research, and they interviewed, like hundreds or thousands of people, they found that in the vast majority of cases, like the leading factor was somebody they interacted with on their last visit made them feel like indifferent. Not that the service was bad or the room was bad or anything like that. They just like somebody that they interacted with. Could have been the person at the front, the concierge, somebody who's cleaning the room, doesn't matter. Somebody that they interacted with made them feel like, I don't really care, right? So you think like they were losing, of the patients that basically, or the customers, Ritz-Carlton that were switching over to other hotels, something like 60 to 70% of them, the reason was that simple. And you imagine in a dental practice, I mean, I've seen cases where people come in, no one even looks up to greet them and say hello. They're busy on the phone, or they talk to patients kind of like, hey, I'm in the middle of something else. Well, can you call me back later? The funniest case I've ever seen was we had a practice get a call on Friday. It was about 4:30 p.m. and this office closes at 5 o'clock. And this was a new patient, just moved to the area, called out, they Googled the practice and wanted to book an appointment. And the receptionist told them, I already turned off my computer. Can you call us back on Monday? And obviously he said, okay, right. And no, obviously he never called back. And you see a lot of cases like this where, the practice is investing so much money in marketing, but no one's even paying attention to what is happening on the phones.
Yeah, I think that what you said before is they're hiring, for if they do the practice management software or if they, understand the insurance. And I think that's really common in offices because they're like, well, I don't want to train on those things. But those things are things that you can easily learn. There's courses for insurance. There's courses for the dental software that you can find. But as you said, you can't train on the personality. And what happens is when you hire those type of people that want to focus on processing insurance or want to focus on, whatever the tasks are, you're getting more task-oriented people instead of getting people-oriented people. And when you find team members that we call them having the woo factor, which is the ability to win one over, that you need to have a really strong woo factor for admin, especially because they're interacting with people all the time and they have to be more people focused. Like for me, I'd much rather talk to somebody on the phone than process insurance or do a spreadsheet or whatever. I'm like, give me all the people. I want to talk to them. I want to help them. Those are the types of people that you want to put, for front and center for the office.
Yeah, and I think that what Nick is showing is any break in the chain, it messes it all up. So we can't say we're just training our front office because if they get a bad experience somewhere else, it's not going to work. You can't just say, well, it's good customer service on my website. It's not enough. It's got to be everywhere. The other thing, because talent, retaining talent and hiring talent has been so important, we actually, I don't know if I even told you, Nick, but we actually, this is about a year ago, is we launched a recruitment service. We recruit for the United States for positions, but we also run quarterly live, basically HR hiring courses that are, and we actually have people in the Netherlands and Canada, all over the world, that we teach them the process of hiring, including personality profiles and all those sort of things. So, and part of the reason why we did that is because so many people said, well, I can't train because I don't have the right staff. This is an excuse. Of course, you should always be training. But we say, okay, well, we'll help you hire them. Because you should always be, a lot of dentists they're always like, oh, I got to hire again. It should be like, this is an ongoing thing. This is just like, it's just running a business. There's no emotion necessary. It's here we go. We have an opportunity. It's a business decision. And we look forward to that challenge of perfecting and improving our team. And the training and the onboarding, what all these companies do, it keeps the team together on a common purpose.